Hey everyone, how are you? Happy Monday, happy whatever day you're catching this. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is week 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, week 5 of the Everyday Ritual series here in Sacred Terrapin. And tonight we're talking about gratitude, daily gratitude practices. I'm going to share with you different ways that you can do this practice, and I'm also going to share with you some of the biggest mistakes that I see being made around gratitude practices, and then wondering why it doesn't work and how to avoid those. So hello everyone. If you're jumping on, say hey to me in that conversation box down below so I can say hello back to you. If you're catching me the second time around, drop me a little recycled symbol so I know that you're here, so I also know that you're catching me, so we can have a conversation. And we are continually getting new people. People are bringing their friends and their family and all sorts of people, colleagues into this group. So I want to introduce myself in case you don't know me. Hey everyone, how are you? My name's Angela Kay. I'm a coach, an intuitive, a medium, and a healer here in Cleveland, Ohio. I really help people with those ancient sacred rhythms, right? The ancient sacred rhythms of the moon and learning the 9 moon phases and how to work with the moon and how to apply that in their everyday life. The ancient sacred rhythms of the earth, of Gaia, right? That wheel of the year, the 8 Sabbats, so really the 8 seasons, right? And how to also apply that knowledge, how to lean into those seasons and leverage them in their life. So that's a little bit of what I do. I run this community. I also run my paid community, which is where you will find all of my moon rituals, right? The paid teachings, group coaching, all those kind of things. That's called the Sacred Collective. All right, so how are you doing? Let me know. Say hey to me, and let's tell some of our friends that we're going to have this conversation. So, to start, while I'm telling people that we're having this conversation, do you have a gratitude practice? Let me know. What I mean by a gratitude practice is, do you intentionally focus on, meditate, list what you are grateful for on an everyday basis, right? Because we're talking about everyday rituals, right? We've talked about other things that we might have in our everyday ritual. Today, I want to talk to you about the importance, the power of having a gratitude practice as a part of our everyday ritual. So a reminder, during that first episode, I talked about layering different habits and how we build these rituals. We build magic rituals, energetic rituals into our life by picking one habit and applying that, and then picking another habit and we stack them. That's how you get a ritual, right? It's intentional activities that you're doing, intentional habits that you're building into a sort of sacred container of like space and energy. So, do you do gratitude in this way? Do you practice gratitude at all? So, a lot of you may have heard the saying that what we focus on, we find, and what we focus on grows. So what this means, let's use the example of the red car. I always like this example. Let's say you buy a red car or a blue car or a green car or a black car. And then all of a sudden you're like, everybody has a black car or everybody has a red car or everybody has a green, whatever color it is. It's because that's what you're focusing on. You're focusing on the fact that you just chose this car of this color, right? And now you suddenly see more of them. It's because that's where your attention is focused. And then it goes a step further, which is that when we focus our attention and we start to see something, right? We also are telling the universe, this is what I would like more of. So there's something called law of resonance. Okay, so we resonate, right? We have vibration, we have frequency, and we resonate with some people and we don't resonate with other people. So when we are using a gratitude practice with intention in our life on a regular basis, we're increasing the joy, the positivity, all of those things in our lives, right? What happens is then that people who don't resonate with that, who aren't in that vibration of happiness, of joy, of gratitude, start to fall away, because resonance is kind of like magnetic. Like you can't have two opposing like forces or energies in the same area, right? So we also, not only are we seeing more of it, we're literally attracting more of it, and the opposite is falling away. Hello, Miss Kyla. Hello, Karina. How are you? So the secret with gratitude, one of them, I'm going to talk to you about some of the biggest mistakes I see people make. One of them is to focus on what you like. It's really tempting, and sometimes when we're first starting out with a gratitude practice, it's easy to be writing what we like, but we're like, I like this, and then our head we say, I don't like this, right? So I might write down like, I love the sunshine. But in my head, I might be thinking like, I love the sunshine, man, I don't like the rain. So those are two different energies. So the goal with a gratitude practice is to move into what we do like, what we do want, what we are grateful for, and to stay in that energy, not to flip back and forth, not to be like, I like this because I don't like this. I like this because I don't want this, right? I like this, and I like this, and I like this. So another way that I recommend to my clients that they do gratitude practices is to feel into it. Each thing that, whether you're listing 3 things or 10 things or 100 things, each thing you're feeling into. So I'm going to give you an example. And this is another mistake I see people make. Okay. People are like, I don't know what to put on my list. So they're like, I'm grateful for oxygen. Well, yeah, we're all grateful for oxygen because it keeps us alive. But the secret here is like, I'm grateful for oxygen because I don't know what to tell you, universe. Like, that's not like a super high vibrational energy. That's not really going to bring like more like abundance in, right? But so we feel into it. Why am I grateful for oxygen? I'm grateful for oxygen because it oxygenates my lungs and my blood, and then it oxygenates my muscles, and then I'm stronger. See how I went with that? Or if you've had a cold, right? Oh, I'm thankful, I'm grateful for oxygen. It feels so good, but I'm literally focusing on how it feels in my body. I'm focusing on exactly why I'm grateful. So I hear people get stuck in 2 different ways. I hear people get stuck because they're like, well, yesterday I did gratitude practice and I'm grateful for all the same things today. Right? And they think that they can't list like their cats a second time. You can be grateful for your cats every single day. And each day you can lean into that, and you can also think about, what about your cats today are you grateful for? What about your kids today are you grateful for? Because yes, I'm grateful for my kids, I'm grateful for my cats, I'm grateful for my mom, all of that every single day. Hello, Debbie. But each day I can really pick something about that out, right? Like, I'm really grateful today, right, for Periwinkle not throwing up, right? That's a negative thing. But so for Periwinkle's health, to make that positive, because we talked about making it positive, I'm really grateful for Periwinkle's health. Tomorrow I might be really grateful that Moonshine is like behaving and laying in his bed. Like, I'm so grateful that like he's listening and like doing what he's supposed to do. And then on Wednesday, I might be so grateful for the kitty cuddles at the end of the night to help me wind down after my quantum meditation. Focus the camera. So you can list the same things in your gratitude practice, but lean into what specifically about that thing that you're grateful for. I also find people who write the same thing all the time and don't do this. And this is one of those things I said that I was going to avoid, right? So I see people do the gratitudes and every day they write they're grateful for their spouse. Granted, you probably are grateful for your spouse. But why are you grateful for your spouse? And it's not wrong to have the same things on our list repetitively, but can you make yourself, or can you help yourself branch out? You're only probably coming up with between 3 and maximum maybe 20 things you're grateful for a day. So next week, can you think of something new? What this does is what we talked about in the beginning of this live. The more things that we can look for and find that we're grateful for, the more things that we're going to find. The higher our vibration goes, and that law of resonance that I talked about means the more that we're growing this part of ourselves, this curious part of ourselves, like, what can I be grateful for today? The more that we're growing this part of ourselves, higher our vibration goes, and law of resonance says this high vibration can't exist with this low vibration, and so we literally have some of that negativity drop out of our lives. We don't have to focus on the stuff that we don't want to make it go away. We just focus on the things that we do want. There's more to it, right? But for the gratitude practice, we're focusing on what it is we want. What are we grateful for? So some of you are like, great, but I get bored, and I hear that a lot. I'm bored with I'm tired of making lists. I hear you. So I want to give you some different ways, in addition to a simple list, that you can do gratitude. But first, I want to talk to you about why it's important, in my opinion, not to do this once a day, but to do it twice a day. You don't have to do the same type of gratitude practice twice a day, but there's a reason and a good reason to do it in the morning, and there's a reason and a good reason to do it in the evening. So in the morning, one of the first things that I do and I recommend my clients do is a gratitude list, because it sets your vibration, it sets your brain, and it says, brain, we're thinking about the good things today. It is good to be alive, it's good to be awake, and this is what it sets your energy for the day. In the evening, I think that it's really good to, no matter what, maybe it's been a wonderful day, maybe it's been a challenging day full of contrast, whatever that is, it's good to kind of move our vibration back to gratitude, right? So we were grateful in the morning, 12, 14, 16, however many hours later, what are we grateful for that came up today before we go to bed? The other thing this does is raises our vibration. So if you are someone who does dream work, if you're someone who travels, etc., getting your vibration as high as you can before you go to bed, not getting it so high that it keeps you awake, right? But getting your vibration up there before you go to bed assists you with that work that you're doing in your dreams, etc. So I recommend twice a day. They don't have to look the same. Your evening one might involve a mandala like I'm going to talk about, or maybe it just involves thinking and really feeling into 3 things that happened today that you're really grateful for, right? It can be that simple. Your morning one might be a meditative, mandala one I'm going to show you, or maybe it's making a list. It can look like lots of different things. So just because you are going to potentially commit, right, to this gratitude practice twice a day doesn't mean that it has to be the same thing. And in fact, I recommend trying different things. Either find the thing that resonates really deeply with you, or switch it up, because then it keeps your brain switched up and it keeps you switched up, and you're less likely to fall into some of those pitfalls that I talked about earlier. So one way that I practice my gratitudes is literally just to list them. If you've never done a gratitude practice before, I suggest 3. Because we can always, no matter what our day has been like, we can always list 3 things that we're grateful for. If you've been doing it a while, I highly recommend you move beyond 3, right? So many of you have seen this that I put in my stories. This is my gratitude wheel I do every morning, right? So it says, today I am radically grateful for, and then I list all of the things. And some of those things show up multiple times. Some of them show up once and they don't show up again, whatever that is, right? So you can list, you can do the gratitude wheel. The gratitude wheel is literally just a circle. Hello, Miss Claire Bear. Just a circle with the spokes. Okay, so I do spokes here, and then I do 2 in between. That's how I create it. And I make a bunch of them in advance. So all I do in the morning, right, is just fill it out. Okay, so the gratitude wheel. But maybe you're like, I'm not really into the gratitude wheel. Maybe you like being creative. Maybe you like being a little more artistic. So then you can also do a gratitude flower, right? So this has, 16, maybe 14 petals on it. I did the same thing. I wrote the today I'm radically grateful. And then on the main petals, I fill them out. You could absolutely fill out the little petals too, right? I don't do that, right? But you can do this however you want to. You could even make little flowers. You could fill out the leaves, whatever you want. So you could do this once. You could draw this not filled out and copy it, right? Run it through your scanner so that you have pages of it, so you don't have to draw it every day and you're just filling it out every day. Whatever makes you happy. Maybe you're like, I don't like to write things. I don't like to journal. I don't like to make lists. I don't want to draw. I don't want to do that. Cool. How about a mandala or a rosary, depending on which one you resonate with? So the way I do this gratitude practice, right, is I get grounded, get my feet flat on the floor, right? Close my eyes. I take some breaths. And after I've taken several breaths, right, and really kind of connected to the present moment, into my body, I just put a finger on one bead and I think about what I'm grateful for, one thing. And I feel it in my body, right? I love the way that periwinkle cuddles at nighttime with like his head on my shoulder. I'm so grateful for Periwinkle. And then I move to the next bead. And I do the same thing in this meditative state. So you can do it with a rosary. You can do it with a mandala. You can do it with lots of things. You could do it if you have a beaded bracelet. I didn't bring one, but like you could just go around your bracelet, right? Move your bracelet around. Hello, Miss Cheryl. How are you? So some of you might be like, your mandalas are like 108 beads, right? Most mandalas are like long. So you want me to come up with 108 things I'm grateful for? Not if you've never done a gratitude practice before, I don't want you to. But if you're someone who's seasoned at doing the gratitude practices, you've been doing them for a while, yeah. Not every day maybe, but I challenge you once this week to sit down and go through a mandala and come up with 108 things you're grateful for. You might think to yourself, that's gonna take a lot of time and it's gonna be hard. And in actuality, it'll probably take you about 20 minutes. 20 minutes that you're meditating, focusing on these things you're grateful for, and think about how high your vibration will be at the end of 108 things you're grateful for, right? So there's lots of different ways to do a gratitude practice. You can do them in the morning. You can do them in the evening. I recommend doing them both. You can do them in the middle of the day. If something really funky happens, like if contrast hits me in the middle of my day, one of the easiest ways for me to shift out of the like, boy, I'm irritated about that or frustrated or whatever, like I haven't quite like found the silver lining yet, right? One of the easiest ways is for me to shift my focus and say, okay, this thing exists, but what are 3 things I'm grateful for right now? And lean into them. Think about why we're grateful for them. So again, going back to the oxygen example, are we all grateful we have oxygen to breathe? Yes. But why are you specifically grateful for the oxygen in that moment, right? Is it because it's oxygenating your cells? Is it because you're training to run a 5K and so that oxygen is building the capacity of your lungs? Is it because you've been sick and so it feels really good to have clean lungs that are breathing? Only you know, but focus on why. So morning, evening, middle of the day, you get to choose when you do this. But my question for you is, are you going to commit? Will you commit to a gratitude practice every day? Or if every day feels like too much right now, every other day? Let me know. It can be as easy as leaning into the 3 things that you're grateful for. Or more. You get to choose. With that, I'm hopping off of here. I'll be back next week for week 6 of our Everyday Rituals series. And if you are a member of the collective, a reminder that Wednesday we have the divination forecast in there for October. I can't believe it's already almost October. All right, with that, hugs and kisses, everyone. Stay well, Moonchild.